Good day, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this webinar on the current International Space Station National Lab Research Announcement, or NLRA, focused on technology development and applied research. I'm Patrick O'Neill, Public Affairs and Outreach Lead for the ISS National Lab. This webinar is designed to help educate those of you who might be interested in applying for this specific research announcement. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the ISS National Lab website. Additionally, at the end of this webinar, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. Okay, so let's get a little into the background and history of the ISS National Lab. The Center for the Advancement of Science and Space, or CASIS, is the manager of the ISS National Lab and has served as such since 2011 through a cooperative agreement with NASA. In fact, in 2022, NASA extended this cooperative agreement for CASIS to manage the ISS National Lab through 2027. Each year, the ISS National Lab puts forth a variety of research announcements focused on targeted areas for researchers, companies, innovators, and educators alike. The purpose of these research announcements is to enable greater access to the ISS, a one-of-a-kind platform in low Earth orbit, to bring scientific value back to people on Earth, build commerce in space, and inspire the next generation of researchers and explorers. And with that, I'd like to bring into the conversation Dr. Phil Iris, Science Program Director for the ISS National Lab. Welcome, Dr. Phil.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm looking forward to providing some insight into this research announcement focused on technology development and applied research leveraging the ISS National Lab.
So, now time for the obvious question. Why would you want to conduct research in space?
The ISS National Lab provides the opportunity for scientific and technological discoveries under the unique and persistent conditions of spaceflight, which you cannot replicate on Earth. Conducting research in low Earth orbit, or LEO, offers several advantages. Near persistent microgravity has proven to have a profound impact on both physical and living systems. Removing the vector of gravity from your research may allow you to see your research with a brand new lens of discovery. Gravity-induced forces like buoyancy, thermal convection, and sedimentation are reduced or removed on the space station, enabling research not possible on Earth. The extreme environment available through the ISS National Lab may be useful for accelerated materials durability testing by exposing materials to the harsh conditions of space. These include extreme heat and cold cycling, ultra-high vacuum, atomic oxygen, and high-energy radiation, all of which can be harnessed during experimentation and testing. The space station also provides a unique vantage point from which to study our planet, as the station's orbit covers 90% of the world's populated areas. This vantage point provides a global perspective on Earth's climate, weather patterns, and environmental changes, helping monitor and understand phenomena such as climate change, natural disasters, deforestation, and ocean currents. These advantages of the ISS National Lab benefit a wide variety of R&D areas. Let's take a minute to discuss what we'll cover during this webinar, and then we'll get into the specifics of this research announcement. Today, we'll review the current technology development research announcement, including the research objectives and areas of specific interest. We'll then take a look at some existing ISS National Lab research examples. Our webinar will then outline the process and timeline of this research announcement, along with some details about the award itself. Then, as Patrick mentioned, we'll have a question and answer session. Let's talk about this research announcement focused on technology advancement and applied research leveraging the ISS National Lab. We're seeking projects that aim to develop, test, or mature products or processes that have a clear line of sight to commercial applications. This research announcement is broad in scope, so there are numerous opportunities to identify potential economic benefits. Think in terms of enabling or maturing a commercial offering of new technologies or products with the potential to produce a positive economic impact. If you're familiar with technology readiness levels, or TRL, you should be considering the maturation of a technology that is currently somewhere around a TRL 4 or higher and aiming to raise that TRL.
So, Dr. Phil, it sounds like projects with economic benefit, either directly or indirectly, are in demand.
Absolutely. Researchers might test a process in the space environment that resolves a key technological hurdle, which then allows them to take a product to the marketplace, or they may conduct space-based research that enhances or expands the market reach for a product. While this research announcement is quite expansive in scope, the ISS National Lab is placing emphasis on a few specific areas. First, we are particularly interested in research that focuses on hardware prototype testing, such as emerging technologies and sensors, as well as computing, electronics, nanotechnologies, and more. Second, we are interested in process improvements, such as advancing the development of facilities for high-throughput research for testing and screening, modeling of operations of industrial systems, and new methodologies for spaceflight research and development using robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence. Third, we're interested in projects that are focused on the development of next-generation production methods, synthesis, and testing of novel materials, and the exploitation of mechanisms involved in advanced materials production. Lastly, we're looking for projects aimed at translational medicine research, such as accelerated disease models, drug design, and novel drug delivery and diagnostic devices. I've only scratched the surface of what's provided in the research announcement instructions. There's more information than I'm sharing with you here in the downloadable documents on the research announcement webpage. Use the QR code on the screen now to go directly to that webpage and download the instructions and announcement information. Now, I'm going to share a few examples of research that has successfully utilized the ISS National Lab to advance technology. I'd like to highlight a few projects that focus on technology demonstrations of various sensors. The MSG Entertainment Group is partnering with the ISS National Lab to develop and test its new MSG Sphere camera, an ultra-high resolution camera with a massive field of view that will capture groundbreaking images of Earth and space in motion. Ozark integrated circuits demonstrated the performance of a high-gain, low-noise silicon carbide phototransistor for UV sensing applications such as detecting oil spills in the ocean and monitoring germicidal UV sources in water and food processes. Astrobotic Technologies' SoundSee is a novel AI-driven technology that helps transform audio patterns into actionable information to monitor the operation of machines, environments, and critical infrastructures. The team leveraged the ISS to detect changes in the operation of hardware on station. Next, let's look at a few projects that focused on material stability and durability testing using the extreme space environment. Georgia Tech Applied Research Corporation used the Aegis Aerospace Missy Flight Facility to evaluate changes in the optical properties of conventional and novel spacecraft materials as they are exposed to the harsh conditions of space. The data acquired will allow the researchers to establish correlation factors between true space-exposed materials and ground materials exposed to simulated space conditions, enabling accurate prediction of on-orbit material performance using only ground testing. A follow-on project to characterize the plasma-induced mechanical property changes of the same materials as a function of LEO exposure using polariscopic measurements is underway. Lastly, through an active collaboration between the Houston Methodist Research Institute and Lamborghini, an experiment leveraged the extreme environment of space to test the performance of 5 proprietary carbon fiber materials. The researchers aimed to gain a scientific understanding of these materials in the harsh environment outside the station for aerospace applications. I hope these examples have helped you think about how your project might benefit from the space environment. At the same time, you're probably beginning to wonder how your research might be conducted on board or outside the space station. Implementation partners are organizations that have expertise in translating research to be done in the ISS environment. They'll help you design and implement any necessary hardware components and help execute your project. This research announcement is a 2-step process, and the concept summary, which is the first step, is open to everyone, while step 2 is by invitation only. We are addressing the step 1 concept summary in this webinar. It's important to connect with an implementation partner during step 1 concept summary preparation. I encourage you to visit our implementation partner database and begin engaging in conversations with these organizations early. There's additional information about implementation partners, as well as available hardware and facilities on station in the research announcement documents. You'll want to get a realistic estimate of what your project might cost, especially if you're new to space. So a conversation with an implementation partner is a great way to start. Since we're talking about costs, this is the perfect time to discuss funding. Funding for this specific research announcement is $750,000 with the expectation to make 2 to 4 awards. You are expected to cover direct costs such as your time, your team's time, your equipment, fabrication costs, and testing that you would do on the ground to prepare for space. As I mentioned, when it comes to doing space-based research on the ISS, it's essential to have an implementation partner to work alongside you. The funding set aside for this research announcement is to assist with implementation partner costs, not for your research or team costs. Launched to the ISS, the cost of any crew resources that you may need to perform your experiment and resources to get your samples or data back to Earth will be completely covered as well. Once a project is selected and funding is awarded, the time it takes before the experiment flies to the ISS depends largely on the complexity of what you're trying to do, as well as the availability of supply vehicles. Generally, this period varies from about 12 to 18 months, and project completion is expected approximately 3 years from award date.
Thanks for that deep dive on the research announcement. And I'm sure most of the viewers have a few questions in mind, like what do I need to do to apply? When do I need to do it by? How does the review process work? And most importantly, do I need to write a full proposal to be considered?
Those are all great questions. I want to remind everyone that this is a two-step application process. Concept summaries are due by July 12th. Before being invited to submit a full proposal, all interested investigators must submit a Step 1 concept summary for review through our online portal. Concept summaries will be reviewed for scientific, technological, and economic merit, operational feasibility, and compliance. Be sure to ask yourself, do my objectives and areas of emphasis align with those outlined in the research announcement? Have I communicated the potential to produce a positive economic impact? Have I included the necessary information regarding an implementation partner? It's important to note that there may be advantages to submitting your Step 1 concept summary early. For example, if you don't get selected, you may be notified prior to the deadline, providing you with feedback and an opportunity to make alterations to your Step 1 concept summary and resubmit for another attempt.
Is it fair to say that everything we've covered so far regarding this research announcement is all detailed in the downloadable documents and instructions available online?
Absolutely. In fact, there's more detail in those documents than what I'm sharing with you right now.
Excellent. So, is there also information available regarding the evaluation process?
Yes, details on the evaluation methodology can be found in the Proposal Evaluator Instructions for this research announcement, which is one of the documents contained in the zip file available for download. Now would be a good time to go over some helpful tips for preparing a Step 1 concept summary. If you're interested in submitting a Step 1 concept summary, I encourage you to use the available resources, which you can find links to on the Research Solicitation page. Connect with an implementation partner early. The scope of work and budget that you receive from your selected implementation partner is critical. Write to the evaluation criteria. The instructions outline the evaluation criteria that will be used to evaluate your Step 1 concept summary. Be sure to address all evaluation criteria. Proposals that do not address all of the criteria or address them poorly are very likely to receive low evaluation ratings. Lastly, submit a compliant concept. Ensure that your research objectives are within the scope of this specific research announcement. As a quick review, let's go over the entire research announcement timeline. This research announcement opened on May 14th, 2024. All Step 1 concept summary submissions are due by July 12th. Applicants whose concepts are approved in Step 1 will be invited to submit a full proposal for Step 2. Now is a good time to mention another benefit to submitting your Step 1 concept summary early. If selected, you'll be notified earlier, giving you more time to start working on the next step, Step 2, which is a full proposal. Full proposals will be due by October 2nd and are by invitation only. Selections will be made in December of 2024. Remember, we're available to answer questions in advance of your Step 1 concept summary submission and during your Step 2 proposal writing, should you be invited to submit a full proposal. You can email us anytime. That's it for this research announcement. Our team is here to support you. Our website has all of the solicitation documents and instructions, as well as a host of resources to help you submit the best Step 1 concept summary possible.
To our audience, remember that the goal of ISS National Lab activities is to bring value and impact back to the U.S. economy and taxpayers by benefiting humanity. Well, Dr. Phil, that was an outstanding review of this technology research announcement that's now open and ready for applicants. So, Dr. Phil, again, it's been a pleasure talking with you today.
Thanks, Patrick. I enjoyed it, and now you have all the information you need to get started on your concept summary submission. This is a great opportunity to take advantage of the expertise and access to space available to you through the ISS National Lab. So what's next on the agenda? Are you ready to answer some questions?
Oh yeah, definitely. In just a minute, we'll be taking questions from you, our webinar attendees. Stay tuned. While the team is getting ready to answer your questions, I'm going to take a minute to highlight the upcoming International Space Station Research and Development Conference, or ISSRDC, an annual event hosted by the Center for the Advancement of Science in Space, manager of the ISS National Lab, NASA, and the American Astronautical Society. This year, our 13th ISSRDC will be held in Boston, July 29th through August 1st, 2024, and will include dynamic keynote speakers, plenary and technical sessions, lightning talks, workshops, and plenty of opportunities to network with leaders in the space community in both our Marketplace Expo, and throughout each day. Hope to see you out in Boston.